folks, and welcome to Techthusiasm Live podcast. It is Monday, February 16th, President's Day, a rare, not a rare, but a holiday, a rare day off, almost a no work day, but I'm still working. When you have a job, you're an employee, and and separately from that, you have a business, own a business, and doing other things. There's basically no days off. So, holiday from the day job, not a holiday from Techthusiasm. I don't think holidays from Techthusiasm actually exist, but that's good. It's fine. I enjoy it that way. It's better that way. It's more fun. There's always something interesting going on. So I got a couple things that I have kind of brewing, a couple things that I have engaged, some things that I've ordered and whatnot, some new things to check out, learn about, and all that, share with some content. So we'll be talking mostly kind of about that today. But it was a good day, a good weekend, long weekend, of course, with the regular day holiday, President's Day today, and in a pretty good week overall. We were actually out skiing today, 50 degrees here. I had my ski coat on. I didn't layer up too bad, but it was actually almost uncomfortably warm. I had my coat open and unzipped the whole time. I should have just taken a hoodie, but love like that spring skiing feeling where you can be out on the snow and it's not freezing cold. I had my lighter gloves on, and again, jacket open, just kind of like some long underwear. My daughter calls me a nerd for calling it long underwear. It's thermals now, I guess is what they call it, but it's long underwear. Um, but we had a good time. We went up. If you're in Michigan, familiar with the area at all, we were up at Mount Holly. We only were skiing for about a couple hours, but we left a little bit before lunchtime. A little bit of a drive for us to get there. Hopped on the slopes and put a couple hours in, made it back just in time for my daughter to be on her way to her soccer activities and for me to be here for all of you. So it was fun. The rest of the weekend was pretty chill. We got actually quite a lot of project time yesterday, working towards some of the stuff that I was talking about last week. The new collections plan, movie memorabilia plan, and stuff that my son and I have been scheming about for the last, really probably the last couple of months, putting it into action. We bought one of the display cases that's going to go in the office. Altogether, there'll end up being four of these display cases, but we picked up just the first one in order to kind of do a test build and a test fit to see how exactly it would go. Here, I can show that real quick. I only took one photo. I was intending to take a couple of more. I go away. Intending to take a couple of more photos of kind of what we got going on, but we did finish building one. Oh, I got to move that from over here to over there. We did finish building one of these cabinets. So I worked on this for a couple hours on Saturday. Now my son had to take a break, go to his drones class and his video game programming class, but pretty nice, about 30 inches or so wide, I think, and roughly about 5 foot tall, or 6 foot tall, sorry, about as tall as I am. 4 shelves, glass shelves, acrylic on the sides, which is a little bit cheap, but this isn't high-end furniture. It's a couple $100 kind of display case off of Amazon. But we ended up we went through all of our books and we kind of sorted out which books we were planning to keep, which ones were going to be selling. Got a plan for that. Having a family member actually kind of broker all the eBay listing and whatnot, because we're selling something like 80 of our hardcover books, really paring down the collection. And then my wife was working on shuffling some things around in the living room. So all the books that are on the left here are now on the other side of the wall, up on top, the top 2 rows of our living room. That wall is actually looking really nice. It was a mix of kind of like their schoolwork, and it had been long overdue to be reduced a little bit and organized and whatnot. So we kind of were moving the homeschool stuff to a different section, which would be over by our couch in the shelving unit that used to be in the office. That'll now be the school section, and we picked up a couple of extra little units so that they have enough room for all their school stuff, and then shuffled things around on the shelves that are on the other side of the wall there. Moved all of these books. So this shelf is sitting empty. It's going to go up into my son's room. He can put his Legos and some of his other stuff on it, clean up his room a little bit, give him some more storage space. And but we've already got this built up. We did finish building it. It was all on Saturday. And then into Saturday night, we we were test fitting, so we took some of the Star Wars hot toys that we had picked up. We some of the MCU hot toys that we had picked up. We have one masterpiece transformer that we fit in there, trying to fit some of our comic books just to kind of get an idea how it all goes. And it's going to be real nice. I think it's exactly kind of what we were looking for in those cases. So that's exciting. And then we pretty much spent Sunday. My son and I went to a couple of local like comic toy shows, and had a good time doing that. That's for something we'll talk about in a minute. So we had a good time doing that on Sunday. Ran around to a bunch of stores, like comic and toy stores and whatnot in the area, like far ranging pretty far in the area. Had a nice Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to all the people that were Valentinesing last week. My wife and I, we went out. We ended up going out Thursday night, beat the rush, so to speak. But that's the day that just worked out kind of best for us to do that. So we went and had a nice dinner. That was great. And yeah, been watching Olympics. No movies. Haven't watched any movies. If you sound off, if you watch any movies, what have you been watching in your theater, in your AV setups or whatnot? My son and I, we're kind of still slow. We're making our way through Clone Wars season 1, so we're still continuing the Star Wars kick. I think we're into at least the back half of season 1. A lot of Clone Wars episodes. I'm really excited to watch that show all the way through, though. I'm very eager to get particularly to some of the later stuff, which I think is where the real like meaty, most like kind of groundbreaking, lore filled, cool episodes and stuff reside. But yeah, it's a lot to get there. 7 seasons, 22 episodes a season, roughly. The last 2 seasons are half that, but still 120 some odd episodes of television, and we're only like 12 in, so we got a ways to go. But I think we'll like do a season, and we might jump to something else for a season, kind of jump in and out, jump back. But still trying to get also through the Mandalorian era shows. I don't know if we're going to go see Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know what everybody thought about the Super Bowl ad for that one. A lot of mixed opinion and conjecture on that. We didn't even actually watch the Super Bowl as well. We ended up a weekend ago, whatever. We were just watching Olympics. We were going to get to some more of that last night, but we just basically just kind of kept working. But we watched some cool stuff, like the mogul skiing. A lot of the skiing is really what we were watching in the last week. The big ski jumping, whatever they call like the freestyle, or they do the moguls and then they jump and they do some more moguls and then they do a jump again. That stuff is pretty neat. And then some of the mogul races. I don't know if anybody saw on any of the social media feeds. This was a big one, I think, just within the last day or two. The mogul race, the dual moguls, where they were racing, and the one, I think it was the guys. One guy got kind of hung up and twisted, and he ended up skiing the last part of the race backwards and basically won. I think he won the race by a hair, crossing the finish line backwards. So stuff like that is I think very exciting in the spirit of competition and all that. So, but I did pretty good on the slopes today. Didn't no falls. It was getting a little slushy, 50 degrees, and as we got into the afternoon, more people were coming out. But still, conditions were nice. Mount Holly, up by Flint, not a huge ski hill, but I don't think I'd ever actually skied Mount Holly before. I wish Brighton. Brighton has I think one of the nicer hills, and it's the closest one to us, but it's like so freaking expensive. It costs almost half as much to ski at Holly. I just can't. I mean, $150 a day, almost, or $130 for a lift ticket. Family of 4. It's like, geez, man. Talking like $500, almost 450 bucks or something to go skiing for 4 of us. So, but only 3 of us went today. My wife was on a quest. I'm not sure how fruitful it is. I haven't actually talked to her. I presume if it would have proved fruitful, that she would have messaged me. But the saga of our theft situation continues. No real new updates. Nothing really new from the police. I think by this point, the suspect should have been charged for all of the crimes, not just our theft, but the other thefts and stuff that she had perpetrated. I don't know if that's led to an arrest or anything, but I heard nothing from the officer in the last week. So we presume that the process is moving forward. But my wife is like, we should go around to the pawn shops. We should go around to the pawn shops, basically looking for the jewelry. Like, I don't know, like that's such a needle in the haystack. You're going to spend hours and hours driving around. She wasn't feeling up to skiing, so she opted to go do that. I suspect that the fruit of that quest was did not. I presume that quest did not bear fruit. looking for a needle in a haystack of like these specific pieces of items. Although, granted, that's where the comic books ended up, was in a pawn shop in Livonia. Um, so in the greater area, I don't who knows how many pawn shops there are. I mean, if we my son and I we go around comic hunting, toy hunting. There's only so many comic stores, but there's probably like 10 times as many pawn shops, especially in some of the specific cities and whatnot around. So we're waiting to see what happens there. Hoping maybe also to do some extra fingerprinting or something, find some extra evidence that maybe ties our suspect to the actual theft of the jewelry. Because last we know, it was she was still refusing to admit to that part of it. But anyway, that stuff continues, and we kind of just wait it out and see what happens. So, a couple of comments. I'm going to say hello to a few folks. Hello to Julius, Maddie, Daddy, welcome, welcome, howdy. Just got promoted at work this week. Awesome. Hoping for that. Hoping for that sweetness to come my way here soon as well. But only be able to start really buying stuff for the next evolution of my system. What's the best way to get pricing from you? Just reach out. Or here I can put the stuff up. Here we go. Yeah, boom. Either go through the webpage or feel free to email me directly, and we can start a conversation offline. Can see what you're thinking about, and yeah, and go from there. I've got a bunch of engagements, a bunch of engagements going on right now with folks, which has been really fun. We've got one really full system, like a full room of speakers that we're kind of puzzling through models and levels. Actually, one, two, three different rooms of speakers, and then some of those rooms also will have screens and some other things going in, audio processors, stuff like that. Which I think maybe next week we'll finally break the silence on some big announcements around that. Got some other conversations going on with screens as well. Delivered to our server here just recently. Again, we did that speaker install with Joe. So yeah, mostly it's a lot of speakers. Actually, I have one screen should be shipping hopefully soon. One of the cool motorized masking I'm saying it wrong. Prenicium Seymour style Seymour brand screens with the motorized masking system. Pretty cool. I got a local coworker actually with a basement setup. All of his stuff is delivered. It's sitting in his garage. He's got a 85-inch TCL, a bunch of the Thiva Focal speakers. He picked up an Anthem at my recommendation and referral, a couple of SVS subs in there. So he's building out a bar open media area, doing all of the other physical construction work, and then pretty soon, it'll be time to work the equipment in there. So that's going to be fun when we get all of that hooked up and running. Hello to Stephen Colley. Welcome. Denver Yo-Yo 9568 afternoon all partial retired. Welcome. Yeah, Maddie Daddy, thanks. By the way, after watch Clone Wars, oh yeah, Bad Batch, definitely. Bad Batch follows up. I started to watch Bad Batch myself. I think I watched the season 1, and I don't think I enjoyed it as much because I didn't have the context of Clone Wars. I think some of those characters directly come, like Echo. I think has already been in season 1 of Clone Wars, so I think it really watching Clone Wars sets the table for Bad Batch. So we will definitely continue on into there for sure. Denver, is anyone using Kaleidoscape? Curious about options. We use Kaleidoscape. You're talking to the OG Kaleidoscape expert in social media, I think, and YouTube here. Yeah, big a fan of Kaleidoscape. Been using Kaleidoscape for, I say 8 years. I should actually run the calculation. If we crossed over into 9 now, might it be 9 years that I've actually been a Kaleidoscape customer. I love it. I've got 2 Stratos. I got a big old Terra server, and I've helped usher a lot of folks actually into the platform as well. So Denver Yo-Yo, I will put this back up again. Feel free to reach out to me. Send me an email, and we can take a phone call. We can talk about it, talk about options and stuff like that. And I just saw this as well, Steven. Yeah, I saw Kaleidoscape 8 terabyte SSD was going up again. Yes. Yeah, this is unfortunate. It's unfortunate. So we talked, well, actually, did we talk about this last week? I'm gonna draw a blank. But last week I think I made reference to the fact, if I didn't anyway, we're here now. But I filmed the I filmed the living room tour. It's actually up for channel members first right now. I meant to publish it over the weekend to try to give a little bit of an extra benefit, but we were so busy, stuff was going on. I didn't get to making the thumbnail. So that prevented me from publishing it to members earlier. It is going to come out to everybody tomorrow morning, though. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. It's a half hour long, super blowout, complete discussion about all where the state of the living room system ended up, a little bit of reference back to some of the work and process that it took, basically, that we did in the last months with the rebuild and stuff to get there, going through the gear, the performance, showing off some of the operation elements and stuff like that. But the whole point of saying that is in that video, in the making of that video, I came to realize that our gaming PC has like a retail value of like $10,000 thereabouts now, because parts are just insane. Graphics cards are nuts. I wonder if actually this is going to end up impacting, or if and how or when this may impact Mad VR, which uses the 5000 series video cards. But the 5090 video cards, the top one, they don't use the 5090 in the Mad VRs. But I have a 5090 in the gaming machine. I always usually buy the 90 series cards. I mean, those cards were supposed to be $2,000. They went all the way up quickly to like $3,000. They dropped back down. They were right around 3 grand when I bought mine. And then now it's like 5,000 bucks, 4,000, 4,500, $5,000, depending on the model of the card. And RAM, I have 64 gigabytes of RAM, excuse me, DDR5 in that gaming PC upstairs. Paid $200 for that RAM a yearish ago when I built that PC. 1,000 bucks for those same 2 sticks of memory now. In the SSDs as well, it's the same thing with SSDs. So that alone, like just 5 grand for a video card, 1,000 bucks for the RAM, maybe another $1,000 or whatever for just the SSD. We're already at 7K, and you still have to account for a few $100s for a processor, a motherboard, a case, power supply, CPU cooler. It's like, geez. So it's unfortunately like I think that there was going to be some really cool things coming with the migration to SSD, like in Kaleidoscape and maybe in other areas even as well. But that stuff, all memory and solid state, non-volatile and volatile memory and GPUs, like AI and everything, is just eating all of this stuff up. It is just absolutely kind of ridiculous and and unfortunate. So there are a couple of changes coming. So they keep responding to storage as well, hard drives. I'll go into this conversation a little bit just in a minute here, talking about kind of my plan for the NAS. But like hard drives, it's hard to some hard drive sizes and stuff are even hard to get or have just kind of gone away. Um, Based on what specifically I was looking for my RAID array plans and whatnot. So yeah, coming March 2nd, I need to send a newsletter out and probably do that within the next couple days this week here. But they already raised the price once and it's going up again. And if you notice as well, there are no other SSD models in the Terra lineup anymore. There used to be like the 32 terabyte and like the bigger one. They're gone. They're not like not feasible. In terms of what they're able to get, and then other parts and stuff that need to go into the newer chassis and stuff, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, March 2nd, the mini Terra Prime will be 10 grand basically per the comment that Stephen McCauley said here. So luckily they're doing what they can. So Kaleidoscape is actually doing a really nice job. It's unfortunate that the prices are going up, but they're pivoting on what they're having available in the hard disk drive servers, which, I mean, let's face it, honestly, for the most part, it's always been a better size to um, uh, cost ratio in the ecosystem to buy the hard disk models than the solid state models. Now it's that worm is turning even more. But you still can get now in the current lineup. There's 4 Terra models in the lineup right now. There's the Mini 8, which if you want it, you should get it. Email me, message me, get in touch. We can get this hooked up right away. But that's going up significantly for a second price increase in March. Beyond that, there are 3 Terra models now. There is a compact Terra, 18 terabyte, $79.95, and there's a compact Terra 30 terabyte. That's a new size, 11 11.9 9.5. So the used to be a 24 for 10,500. Now it's a 30 for 12. And then the 96 is still hanging around in the full size chassis, which is still 30 grand, and it's while supplies last. Last time the stuff came out, the 48 terabyte said while supplies last. And so it's like, well, how long are supplies going to last? We don't exactly know. It wasn't very long. As the eventuality actually turned out, it wasn't very long. So, um, but you don't have to get those as well. I mean, you can still enjoy the Kaleidoscape system, buy yourself an E, use the limited storage, download. If you've got gigabit or faster internet, you can download a movie in about 10 minutes. So yeah, you can't store a lot, but it's on demand. I personally do like having a lot of movies stored. My use case, I want them at my fingertips. The family's trying to decide on things. I also use them for demos and appointments and demonstration appointments and stuff like that. So I really like having a good amount of storage in the system. But again, you can get it. You can get an 18 terabyte. You could just get an E, kind of ride out this wave of stuff. In the past, when component prices have gone crazy in the past with tariffs or other shortages and stuff, eventually the market resets itself. Production is gonna step up. I mean, if all these companies that make these components, if they're able to keep selling them, they're gonna ramp up production to meet these demands and sell, especially at these inflated prices. So someday it will get better. But I mean, there's options in the platform, and again, they're doing what they can to keep a selection of models and servers and stuff available. So nothing is not thankfully nothing is unavailable. There are options within the platform, and the hard disk servers are still pretty much in their same price to cost, or I'm sorry, capacity to cost type of ratio that they've been maintaining. So of course, 18 terabytes will get you 300 movies in a compact server, pretty nice. 30 terabytes, um, not quite not quite 600 movies, 550 nominally. The regular calculus is about 100 movies per 6 terabyte. So, oh wait, that's yeah, 500 movies. Duh, easy math. 500 movies in the 30, 300 movies in the 18. Um, give or take, of course, depending on what you're downloading. TV shows, super long extended 4K editions, stuff like that, take up a little more space, but HD content takes up a lot less space. So kind of all evens out. Julie's saying, order the Sofa Baton X2 remote. Was informed it won't ship until 30 days. Wow, those are behind schedule as well, even. Wow, a lot of questions coming in. I'm going to roll through this and then we'll talk some NAS stuff. What are your thoughts on what's better in an 8-speaker setup? Ooh, between 7.1 and 5.2.1. I think you mean 5.1.2, meaning do you want rear surrounds or do you want two Atmos speakers? I think that depends a little bit, Lord Alpha. Like, so I would say it depends on your placement. Like, if you have to really compromise to do the heights, then I would just stick to the bed layer, and I would be happy with it. If you have to really compromise to do the surrounds, I would maybe try to get get at least your side surrounds and stuff in a good position, and then go ahead and do the overhead. So to me, it would be based on what's the limiting factor of like what is the biggest compromise of the installation. Some people can't do rear surrounds if you don't have a wall back there, you don't have a closed space. It's an open concept thing, or it's like maybe the wall is like 20 feet back or something. Just you don't do the rear surrounds. If I'm not a big fan of putting things in compromised positions. So if you can, or two compromised positions, we all have to make compromises in our system. Sometimes the compromise is, I think give it a second here. There we go. Sometimes I think the compromise is actually to choose not to put the thing in if it doesn't really work. Don't force something that doesn't really work. Denver, Clydescape seems overly expensive. I mean, that's a matter of opinion. Is it expensive? That's also really actually a matter of opinion. It costs dollars. Yeah, it costs a lot of dollars. A lot of things in our hobby. Home theater costs a lot of dollars. It really depends too. We can talk about this if you reach out, you want to get in touch. Like, what elements of the system appeal to you? What would you take advantage of? What elements of the system would you find value in? For me, I'm never ripping a disc again. Like, I'm done with all that. I'm done with physical media. I don't want it. I don't want to collect it. I don't want to have it sitting out. The only physical media that I like is books. Not for music, never again. Not for video games, never again. Not for movies. Um, and I'm certainly not wasting my time, my extremely limited time sitting in front of a computer dealing with all of the hassles and factor of ripping my content and putting things on a server and the lack of family friendliness of that. I need something that really just works, is elegant to use. The whole family can use it very easily. I have all of the content available at my fingertips. I can buy anything in the store and be watching it within 10 minutes. So can anybody else in the family. I can watch anything new releases. I can watch premium content that's been or that's potentially even still at the theater rather than going to the theater. I don't have to wait for a disc to come out. I don't have to figure out where I'm going to buy the disc. I don't have to worry about if it's like a boutique release or a limited release, and am I not going to be able to even get it, or is that movie even going to come out on 4K on disc or whatever? Um, if that movie is released and there's a problem with the encoding, Kaleidoscape can fix it. You can just re-download it. You're good to go. You get a bum encoding on a disc. Now you've got a problem on your hands. So there's a lot of factors to that. That's all of those things added up have been are worth it for me to spend the money on it in conjunction with having a system that's system level that kind of supports spending there as well. And so I happily been in for a long time, and I would not go back. Terminator. Hey, hello, hello. Is that Joe's Saturday? So Joe's is the house where we just recently put in the new we screen. He swapped from a scope screen to a 16:9 at the same width, adding height to get bigger images for or almost the same width within a couple of inches. But scope to 16:9 simplified the install and much more impactful picture size surface area for 16:9 and 185 content. And we also put a focal IWLCR6 1000 series behind the screen, acoustically transparent screen. He has Electra towers, so now he has an acoustically transparent screen, center channel audio coming directly from there, and whatnot. I really think I need a brighter projector to get the better HDR pop. Yeah, experience other people's rooms. Yeah, that's true. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, I've almost never been to somebody else's demo day or get together or whatever it may be. You always leave with something like, I really like that. I learned something here today that I didn't think of, or I learned how something worked or how they're doing something and maybe applying that. Sometimes it's nice if it's just something that you can go home and tweak, right? Or something that you can adjust. Sometimes, sometimes it's that you experience a certain piece of equipment or something like that that makes you kind of makes you kind of want it more. So that's the curse side. The blessing is when it's perhaps a tweak, or maybe you learn about a setting that they're using, you can go home and do it, or a way of EQing or a little bit better or something like that. That's the blessing for sure of the get-togethers. But yeah, I mean, projector brightness. This is something that I've been debating for myself for a little while, and actually been working with a couple of folks through as well as that are also considering potential screen changes or screen purchases. Again, I mentioned there's a couple of like full rooms that I'm working on with folks at the moment, and every one of them comes with like, okay, screen, how big, what aspect ratio, what projector do you already have, or what projector would you think might go in here? Like, let's do some calculations and whatnot, and try to figure out the best way to go. So this is one I was just playing with the other day. We were looking at an NZ 800 here, and I think these numbers are these numbers are off. These numbers are off quite a bit, but it was like, was it like 150-inch diagonal? So these calculators are really, really useful, right? You can kind of come into a lot of these things. This is Projector Central, by the way. You can pick a projector that you'd like to use as kind of a baseline. It gives you some stats and whatever about that projector. In this case, we were calculating the difference between certain screen setup and like NZ 700 versus 800. And I think we're actually looking at like 150-inch, 235-to-1 diagonal screen. You can lock it. And then I'm pretty sure that this one had a throw distance of like 16-ish feet. So he was on the short side of the throw. And, so you end up coming out here. You can look down. You set your aspect ratio, your screen size. Oh, sorry, that was diagonal. That's correct. And 41 foot Lamberts. So according to actually Stewart's recommendation for HDR, 41 is about 40 foot Lamberts is about where they recommend trying to land. But you can also tweak this. So this was another one that we were debating, which was, well, It's an acoustically transparent screen application, which if you do the Stewart perforated, the Studio Tech G4 material, it has an effective gain of about 1.2, little technically like 1.22, but it's only one decimal point in this calculator. But then you have to deal with, okay, the distance to the speakers behind the screen, and are they too close? You're going to get comb filtering and some of the negatives of not having enough of a surface area of holes for your audio signal to get through. You want some distance there so that the audio cone has a chance to widen before it goes through the screen. It hits more of the holes. But then if you go for something like a Seymour screen, well, it's awesome. It's woven. It breathes a lot easier. You can put the speakers fundamentally kind of right behind it, and you're not going to degrade your audio performance. But look at that. You go from 1.2 on a Stewart down to zero point 0.9. We've dropped now from 40 foot Lamberts to 31, and now we're potentially compromising HDR. So always a challenge, kind of making some of those choices and decisions and stuff. And like I said, definitely talking with a number of folks about these specific elements in their systems right now. And I think I need to actually, there's a person that I need to message about this, that we were talking to, because somebody was actually prepared to buy my current screen. And I think I'm going to just keep what I have for the time being. I've been doing these calculations and stuff myself, and I don't think I can get what I want. I would like to be able to go back to a 16:9 or potentially even like a 17:9 screen, but match the native pixel count, the 4096 panel pixel count of the JVC. But I just don't think I can do it. Like if I look at, let's see if we can use these calculators for my setup here, right? So we have an NZ900 right now. We have a 235 screen. It's I'm going to go with width because that's what I'm more used to dealing with. It's 150 inches wide. I've got a throw distance that's right around like 18-ish feet. And I'm going to set the gain at 0.9. Seymour in the woven screen talks about it's a unity grain screen. Some folks around AVS Forum and other places argue that they've measured it less than that. So I'm going to just hit the difference. We're going to call it 0.9. That's only 30 foot Lamberts, but I can actually, I can go back in here, I think, and I can say, oh, anamorphic lens. Okay. And now we're up to 30. Yeah. All else being equal, we're up to 37 foot Lamberts, which measured in my actual room, right? This is kind of calculation measured in the actual room. I'm getting 105 nits. Nits and foot Lamberts kind of different, but I would pretty much equate, I think, if you're getting around 100 nits, you're probably roughly hitting, I believe, the equivalent of about 40 foot Lamberts, kind of in a similar recommendation or a similar spec. But now, if I come back in here and I say I switch this to a 16:9 screen, I think it's actually, let me go back in here. I have to turn this off because that's boosting, I think, boosting the brightness. And I switched this to a 16:9. Now, wait, something's not right. This is too bright. I think I'm doing something wrong, or at least something isn't reading exactly right, because we should be losing, without the lens switching the screen, we're losing brightness. And this is saying that we're actually gaining. Let's try this one more time. 150 wide. Oh, come on. 150 wide. Losing. Okay, there we go. That's that's weird. Something wasn't calculating like we expected it to. Okay, so yeah, so there we go. So we drop, big significant drop, 28 foot Lamberts on that 0.9 gain screen, because I'm losing the benefit of the A lens and stuff like that. So now I got to make the change. Well, I need to get up to this I need to get up to the Stewart screen. Studio Tech G4 perforated 1.2-ish gain. We're back up to, on the border here of 40 foot Lamberts again. So I would basically trade the lens for the screen material with the higher gain, but I go from a woven to a perforated, and my speakers are only 3 inches behind the screen. So I can manage it from a brightness perspective and an installation simplicity improvement, because we wouldn't have the lens distorting. We can turn the geometry correction off in the MAD VR. It would be naturally better for if we did want to do any video gaming down here, it would really kind of be possible again, because the lens just kind of really screws stuff up. It's really set up for video content only. But after making all of those changes, I'm too afraid that I would compromise my audio. I think ultimately is the decision that I was arriving at. I have there's too much back there. There's $25,000 worth of speakers behind that screen in those Focal Utopias, and I want to make sure that they sing to their absolute potential. And I know it's really good now, and so risk factoring for a bigger or taller image, not any bigger for scope because my scope image wouldn't actually be changing, but my 16:9 image, my 185 aspect ratio type movies would get bigger, more immersive and stuff like that. But even still, I'm at 135 inches, a little bit less than that for my current effective 16:9 image from about 13 and a half feet. It doesn't feel small. So I think I've got other things that I need to do coming up. And again, I think maybe next week finally we'll really talk about what the big change is that is coming in, um, that are going to take precedence. And I think I'm better off just leaving the screen. Someday we may change this, or who knows? Maybe what'll be not this year, but maybe next year will be JVC year again. It'll be 3 years since the launch of the current NZs. So come on, JVC. I need an NZ901 at about 4,000 lumens. Order that up. Put that on the spec list, and then I'm sitting pretty because then I could get that brightness from the projector. I could stick to a woven screen, and I would still come out kind of where I am today. So that's what I need. I need a NZ901 with 4,000 lumens. That would be awesome. Maddie's saying, heard a lot of rumors, TV pricing, 2026 model is going to be much higher than usual. Yeah. I mean, yeah, RAM is a nightmare. It affects everything, right? Every device has some level of chips in it. Every device needs some memory, volatile and non-volatile. So we'll see. I hope this doesn't lead to another like systematic round of price increases all around like home theater, audio, video, and technology. Like laptops, conceivably, like laptop prices should be going through the roof. Again, you need the RAM, you need SSDs, both of them for those double whammy, plus GPUs as well, integrated GPUs at least. We'll see what happens. The last thing we need is another big systematic round of price increases, like after COVID and inflation and after tariffs. Like let's chill for a minute. In those couple of specific server models, I think Kaleidoscape, because they're basically just big SSD servers, right? They were a little extra exposed to the situation. So Terminator, I believe they're discontinuing the 5070 card soon. I don't know if this should actually be the year when I'll have to look it up. I don't know if maybe there's already another comment about this. Terminator, if you know why would they do that? Is that because like they're having a problem getting parts, like the partners or whatnot, and they can't make the cards, or they just felt it didn't make sense in the lineup? Maybe are the supers coming, or is this the year, this fall, like September-ish, when like the 6,000 cards would already expect to be announced? Because I think this fall will be 2 years from the 5,000 series being announced, or am I thinking, has it been less time than that? Maybe my memory is a little bit off. I'm curious behind the why behind that one. Yeah, Steven, anything with storage and memory is going to get more expensive. Yep. Yeah, that's the scary thing. Yep, 64 gig DDR4 for 150. Now it's 300. Yeah, like I looked up the sticks for my computer, DDR5, and they was almost $1,000 for those two. Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, this is so from just a year ago to now, like a couple $100 to almost $1,000. Steven, yeah, you can buy 2 or 3 PCs for. Yeah, well, I mean, you can buy it. It is what it is. 10 grand. 10 grand buys a lot of different things. At this point, though, I would be like, if anybody got in touch with me and was looking for a recommendation on what server to buy, I would buy the 18. Like, I think that's the sweet spot in the lineup now. Regardless of what player you buy, and actually now it doesn't even matter what player you buy, because before February, the Strato E was 3 grand, the C was 4 grand, The V was 4,500. I'm not even going to worry about the M. Um, is that has its place, but it's not not as a primary server in a dedicated home theater or a premium home theater environment. Um, Now the C is 3 grand, and I think probably this is conjecture, I don't know this, but my opinion would be one of the reasons they lowered the price on the C is because of some of the increase of the price on the servers, so it took a little bit of pressure off, but I think it works better that way because now if you're coming in and you're not gonna buy a server, then just buy an E. It's got some storage, it's a complete player in the ecosystem. You can use it, you can download content to it, you can play that content, you're good to go. One box solution until you're ready to add a server later on, spend more money, and then you can choose to do that. If you're coming in though and you're buying a server day one, now you don't have to spend more to get the C, which is great. The C is the same price as the E. If you're coming in fresh and you're buying the server, you just buy the C. There's really no reason to buy the E. The only value benefit the E would provide is you really want the Dolby Vision, but if you're putting it on a projector or something like that, you don't need it. And nowadays, Dolby Vision 1 value is probably somewhat dubious to begin with. So Dolby Vision could be the reason, or it is nice to have a little redundancy. Like if that server goes offline, something happens, whatever, and your C is done. Your C can't play anything, but you could just very quickly reconfigure the E as a standalone mode, and now you still have access to your content. You can download a movie, you can play it and watch it. So that's kind of a nice fallback, if and should it happens. But otherwise, given that they're the same price now, the C is a good buy mating with the server, at the same time. Terminator, all these ridiculous prices for data centers. Yeah, haven't even started. Yeah, right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, we're just at the beginning of like all these municipalities really fighting against data centers. That was happening just locally here, actually. I'm not sure if it was actually, I think it was in our city, actually. The west side of our city was up as a location for some data centers, and there's a lot of pushback on trying to get that stopped. But we'll see. I don't necessarily have a dog in the race. I like Elon's idea, which is basically put the data centers in space. Infinite solar power. It's freezing cold to cool them, and they're out of the way. So that sounds like a pretty darn good solution to me. Lord Alpha, yeah, SSDs are a mixed bag with bit rot. I learned. I never, not really, not sure about that. Um, at this point, like very little of anything that I buy would be hard disk based unless it's a large quantity data server. That's the only thing that I would use a hard disk drive model for. And my Kaleidoscape is an HDD, my NAS is an HDD. The drives that my cameras NVR to is an HDD, and that's it. Everything else is spinning disk. Um, Steven, I would totally have a Strato E if it had a 4K interface. Not sure I could compromise. Yeah, I mean, so this, to be honest, in my opinion, people make a big deal out of this, and it's such a not big deal. It's like this is like the talking point of the naysayers, and it's so overdone. I have 2 E's in my system, and I don't really notice. I've demoed my rooms for a bunch of people, and nobody's ever even thought twice to mention something about the way the UI looks, even in the theater where the screen is huge. Now the screen is huge upstairs as well. Nobody's ever mentioned it. Nobody's ever bothered by it. They see it, they like it. It looks great. It's elegant. It works. And the 4K thing is only the UI. It has nothing to do with playback. Content Playback of content is all the same. It's an unfortunate trade-off. I wish it wasn't even in the conversation, but they made the choices they made with the chips that they chose. And my understanding is they chose the chips that they chose because they delivered better, like, or part of the reason anyway is they delivered better playback quality. They it was playback is what they were focused on. Denver, thinking of a dual approach, save locally using SSD, store movies. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean. If you're talking about building your own server or something like that. Manny, I'd just be happy with a Strato E. Yeah. Um, think about a UB820 by just possibly. Yeah. Well, like I said, we're reach out. Let's talk. Um, see what you have in mind with regards to kind of the overall system. Hey, Lord Alpha, even HDDs are going to rise with people alternating. Yeah, that's true. Like if you needed storage and you can't get solid states, you're gonna buy spinning disks, and um, it'll ripple effect for sure. It'll ripple effect for sure. Yeah, Steven, that's what I would do. Backup. Yeah, backup to Synology, get the Skyscape for random blockbusters early access. I mean, once you have it, there's no going back to being able to just like pop a new release movie or a recently released movie or an in theater movie that you really want to be able to see and be able to watch it at fidelity in your system. Yeah, right here. 12 years of managing Plex for the family has been a life-changing experience. I did it for a long time. I mean, I was right there. Like when ripping first started, it was like 2007. Um, and yeah, we had just moved to Boston, and I had my PlayStation 3. It was a PlayStation. I was gonna say 5. It's a PlayStation 3, 2007, because we moved early in the year, and I think I just recently got like the PlayStation 3 had just come out a little bit before that, and it actually got stolen another time when despicable thieves saw fit to take my things. The movers actually stole from us in the middle of the move. So we got to Boston, we're unpacking our boxes, and, oh, my game consoles are gone. Um, so I bought another PlayStation 3. We complained to the moving company, got reimbursed and whatever. But I learned that like, oh, like I could rip stuff. The first thing that I figured out was like you could rip DVDs to VOB files, and then the PlayStation 3 could actually play those over the network and stuff. And then, like, I really had a long tenure, probably well, when did I get my Kaleidoscape? It was, like, 2016, I think it was now. So that's close to 10 years where, man, I did it all. I had a 12 base Synology full, like, it's probably 100 terabyte, thousands of movies, thousands of pieces of content. I was ripping TV shows, and I went back, I re-ripped all my stuff. I did ISO, and then I compressed it down because that made sense at the time with Handbrake or whatever. And then we got better, like, capabilities, and then 4K and stuff came along, and it's like, "Oh, it's stupid to recompress all this stuff." Storage is getting, bigger and cheaper. So I re-ripped again, and I ripped ISO, and I ripped MKVs, and then I went back to ISO and back to MKVs. I tore open my Opos and jailbroke them and loaded the firmware and all this stuff to be able to do that on the network. And I had Dunes and Zapitis and Western Digital players and all this stuff along the way. So I was in it, and God, that was such a waste of time. Not in its totality. I learned a lot in the process of doing that, but I way overinvested myself in that. There were years where I spent all of my time just dorking around with these frickin' servers, and I didn't even watch movies because, like, oh, it's like, "Okay, I got a couple hours free tonight. I'm gonna, like, get these discs and rip them and set up my server and redo my posters." It's like, "No, I should have just watched the damn movie." That was so some elements of that set me up for some current success. It built some experience and stuff like that. But man, beyond that, it was such a colossal waste of time and effort and energy. I should have been doing so many other useful things in my life. Um, Maddie did it. Like the Strata Wii because the quality. Yep. Almost never watch a movie twice. Yeah, that's perfect then. Buy it, watch it, or even just rent. Like you don't even have to be Strato E, you don't in Kaleidoscape, you don't even have to be a buyer. You could just rent. Rent the movie, watch it, delete it, and move on to the next one. Steven, what do you do for movies that don't come out on Kaleidoscape? Ooh, new Ninja Turtle Movie Masters. I would either just whatever. I would wait. Because maybe they'll come eventually. Or if I really want to watch it, if it's not on Kaleidoscape, I stream it. That's basically what it boils down to for me. Or if it's like a really, really, really important piece of content for me, then I have it on my NAS. I do want to get to the NAS conversation. I do want to get to the NAS conversation quick. So I'm going to go through these a little bit faster. Um, Terminator talking about projectors. Okay, consider Epson, NZ. You know me, man. I'm a JVC fan through and through. So, Steven, waiting for CDA. They likely update. I don't think this is the year. I think we're probably looking at next year. This year will probably be another firmware year for the JVC models. I would think as well. Yeah, yeah, boom right here. Black room, you can take advantage of it. The JVC is going to win every single time. 100%. Yeah, Michael, there you go. Yep. Yeah, I haven't talked Ubiquity yet. I want to get into this in just a minute. Um, oh, not sure why Nvidia's just gonna they're make yeah, okay. So it's time for the supers. That makes a lot of sense. And that's kind of in their usual product cycle. So the super versions. And I will not be buying any supers or EX versions of these video cards. I'm sitting on my 5090 until the 6090 comes. For sure. I made that mistake in one of the prior generations, or the TI, that's what I was thinking of. I went from a 3090 to a 3090 Ti, lost a bunch of money. I should have just waited for the 4090 for like marginal performance difference. Maddie, see a lot of JVC versus Epson. So in my opinion, JVC still pulls ahead of Sony as well. I think a lot of people like Sony's for like motion processing, stuff like that. Up until just recently, the Sony models lacked dynamic tone mapping, frame by frame tone mapping, uh, same as the Epsons had lacked it. So that was a big gap. But overall, I think JVC still throws the superior picture. And I've seen a lot of them at different events, other people's rooms, some side by sides and whatever. Yeah. All right, so let's talk some NASs now. So I made the decision, kind of part and parcel with deciding to kind of park the screen upgrade. I've been debating this for a while, and with all the goodness that I had experienced just recently with having the cameras, the Ubiquity cameras and stuff, serving to be so useful for our theft case, really being the final one of the deciding final elements of being able to make progress on the theft case. Actually, one of the things that I wanted to get was I want more storage for my NVRs and stuff. So let me do one thing. Before I share this, I'm gonna log in here. Here meaning my current Synology. So there's a couple things that I really like about Synology that have kept me in it. But I'm all in on the unification of my network life with the Ubiquity stuff. It just makes like the absolute sense. I just want to make sure if I click through this stuff, I'm not showing any personally identifiable information. No, we're good to go. All right, so boom, here we go. So here's what I've got. Here they are. Okay. So in my Synology NAS right now, it's the DS1821 Plus. So it's actually a bit of an older model as well. I do have it upgraded for 10 gig Ethernet with the like SFP style connectors with an add-in card. I have a 1 terabyte SSD drive in there as a speedy cache drive, and then I'm using SHR on the first 5 drives. So there's 2 12 terabytes and 3 18 terabytes. That's one single array, and I use that for some media storage again because there is some stuff that is like lost to time that I want to be able to watch and have access to. 80s cartoons, some Japanese stuff, different things like that. A couple more esoteric movies as well. Not a lot though. Barely like I think 3.5 terabytes maybe. Um, I back up all of my Techthusiasm assets, video projects for all my videos to this. Maybe it's like 5 terabytes of that. And then we also use it for photo backup. With Synology Cloud Station, we had been doing iCloud backups as well, which was really nice actually, because we all have a Microsoft account. We were all using more Microsoft services, but I've steadily been moving myself and my kids. My wife is the holdout because she's still intent on using a Windows computer. But we backed up our OneDrives to the NAS with its Cloud Sync, which worked awesome for so long. Like we could have all the OneDrives, all the files local, get to them through the local network in the house. If you changed anything externally, the NAS would sync. If you changed it on the NAS, it synced it up to the cloud. Really, really, really nice. We had our phones would back up to our photos taken to OneDrive, and then we would unify the pictures into folders by year, month, activity, etc. And what I found though is that that's gone really unreliable, particularly in the last year. Cloud sync for OneDrive is just it's incredibly unreliable. Um, it doesn't sync both directions in the right ways that we would want it to, and particularly the photo backup in the OneDrive app from our phones like never works right. Stuff never gets all the way up to the cloud. So I have been waiting for um, Unify for Ubiquity to come out with something that would give me something relatively close to this capability, and so now we have it. Unified Drive 4.0, baby. I'm not sure if this is out or if this is coming out soon, but this blog, it was just a couple of days ago this was announced. Automatic iPhone photo backup. I can't get my wife on a freaking Mac, but she uses an iPhone, and that's not it's not changing. So she uses iPhone, iPad, Apple, everything else. Just can't get her on a MacBook. Drive 4.0 introduces a seamless way to protect your iPhone and iPad photos without relying on third-party services using the license-free Unify endpoint, which I think is just an app. Photos are copied directly from your phone to your personal drive. Here we go. Photo backup. This is what I wanted. And then in addition to that, we also have this down here, Microsoft 365 protected cloud backups. Boom. The ability, hopefully, off cloud backups for Microsoft 365 data. So I hope this syncs like the way Synology Cloud Sync actually works, that we can basically connect or authorize a OneDrive account to sync all of its files to the NAS. Now, me, and my 2 kids, we don't really even use our one personal OneDrives anymore. I've migrated myself and them to, iCloud drives, and my wife is still hanging on to her OneDrive area, and we do have, like, one kind of, like, shared Microsoft account that's not going away that has a lot of important stuff in it and in its OneDrive. So I'm hoping to be able to sync that to the Unify NAS with these new capabilities, and then we also get the photo protection and stuff in there. It's like, boom, uh this is hopefully like exactly what we're looking for. So if we look at their NASs, they have a couple different NAS models, which is interesting. Um these changed recently. So they have the UNAS Pro. So this was the original one. $500, 7 drive bays in traditional kind of like Unify fashion. You have the touch screen on the front, you have the network ports on the front, only a power port on the back. And this thing installs pretty straightforward. It only has rack ears, no rails. Rails are a bit of a challenge for me because I have those vertical watt box strips on both sides of my racks on the inside. So they go about 90% of the height of my rack. So only the stuff on the very bottom of the rack can actually have rails on both sides without impacting the vertical watt box. And so that's great because I have the watt box UPS on the bottom of one side. That thing is a big honking heavy thing, very deep as well. And so its rails come underneath the vertical watt box strip. But I want to put the NAS up top. And so I can't do rails on both sides. So like, okay, this is a merit of using of this one that it doesn't actually require it doesn't require the rails. But this is the original model. Again, it's $500 and it's pretty decently spec'd. 8 gig of RAM. It has 10G networking built in. There's no ability to upgrade the RAM. Uh, ARM A57 at 1.7 gigahertz, and there is no SSD cache drive capability on this model. So I was looking at the other ones, and now we have the 4. So there's the UNAS 4 and the UNAS 8. So what they did in order to build these and accommodate them is they took the IO to the back, which is kind of a departure for a lot of their stuff. The drives are still on the front. This is a 1U, which I've actually reserved myself 2 units in the rack for where I'm going to end up putting this. But by virtue of this being a 1U, and now they needed more depth, so there's more stuff in the back. It needs rails. So I'm like, oh man, that's a bummer. Like conceivably, I just want to be able to mount it with the ears, but I think because it's deeper, the torque kind of pulls a little bit more on it. if you look at the technicalities of this one, the nice thing is, right? So it's 4 hard disk drive bays, 2 NVMe bays, which are, if we go back, actually they're on, we'll look at the installation guide. So of course, again, so you got the rack ears, and then if we go way down to the bottom, that's the drive cages on the front. They go in nice and easy, redundant power if you did it, 10G networking, all that cool stuff. Okay, yeah. So on the back, you pop this little door off, and then you have to use the little key, you pop out this cap, and then that's where you can slide in an M.2 SSD cache drive. How ridiculous is it? I think Julius had made the comment to my community post Sunday or whatever when I ordered this thing. Come on, guys, put the frickin' cartridges in the box. It's $19 for the cartridge, and you have to buy it separately. You have the slot, just put the cartridges in there, sell it with the cartridges in there. So you buy the NAS, you pop the cartridge out, you put your disc in. Nope, it's an extra spend. Little bit of a tax, 19 bucks. You can buy it. There it is. I only bought one. I'm only putting one in there. But I think they do this in a lot of their devices, so they just kind of kept the idea of it. So that's the 4. Let's go back. One more thing here. No, I want to go to the NAS. Yeah. So technical. So 8 gig of RAM, still the same. It has an upgraded CPU, or at least a faster one. Same A57, running at 2 gigahertz instead of 1.7. Still 8 gig of RAM, but it does have the cache drive capability. All the same or similar type of RAID and stuff. I think. Oh, excuse me. One big difference in this one, though, is it's a single RAID group. You can't do multiple RAID groups here. So it's expecting with 4 drives that you're going to have kind of one drive array. Now we got the big boy, $800, 8 drives. It's basically a 2U version of the same thing, right? If we look at the back, we have the same faceplate. You pop this off. There's the 2 slots for the NVMe cache drives. We have multiple 10G ports, actually, both SFP plus and an RJ45 style, multiple fans, power, redundant power, all that stuff is available there. This one, though, also, and this is kind of what put me over the edge, 16 gig of RAM. So double the memory, still has the A57 at 2 gigahertz. It has the ability to do the cache drives and where is it? RAID group multiple. So we can do multiple arrays within here. Now, one of the things that I love about Synology, and I don't know if they have a patent on this or whatever, why every NAS company in the world hasn't copied Synology hybrid RAID, I have no idea. But SHR1 or SHR2 is like the absolute, it's gold. It's just absolute gold for a NAS. Being able to take, again, this situation, right? I could take all of these drives, 2 12s, 3 18s, 2 4s. I could RAID all of them together, and it would basically use, if I did SHR1, it would take one of the 18s, use it as the parity drive, the protection drive, and I would get the capacity of all of these other drives. Every other RAID system that I'm aware of, like out there from every other company, you always have to do your arrays with the same size drives. That's a PITA, because we add drives over time. We might procure drives of different sizes. Being able to slap all of them into a NAS and have them work together like that, or even choosing 1 or 2 disk parity is just so good. SHR is really, really just so good. I applaud Synology for it, and why everyone else hasn't stolen it, I have no idea. So, but my plan, so one of the things that my plan was is basically just to do RAID 5, just to do RAID 5, and but I want to use these drives. I want to use my biggest drives for that. These are 18 terabytes. You almost cannot buy an 18 terabyte hard drive anymore. I was looking around. It's actually like more expensive to buy an 18 than to buy like a 20, I think, or a 22 or a 24. It's just like something about that size of a drive is not available. You can get them, but they're like $400, give or take, and you're basically overpaying just for that form factor. I have no idea why that is, but I'm like, oh man. So I've kind of been debating what to do because, like I mentioned, I don't know if this will work, but these 5 drives in my Synology are currently in one array. I never added these 4 terabytes to that array, which is good. And then in my Dream Machine, I have 2 more 4 terabyte drives. I ended up with 4 of these Western Digital Reds back when I did the UNAS, the Ugreen NAS uh, review. They sent me the unit of 4. I think they sent a 4 bay, and they sent it with 4 terabyte Western Digitals in it. So when I was done, I made the content, I checked it out, decided it wasn't replacing the Synology for me. Um, I sold the chassis, but I kept the drives. So I've been using 2 of the 4 terabyte drives as my camera drives, but I want more. I want more retention. With all of the cameras we have currently, we have about 18 days, I think it is, of retention. So here's what my plan is going to be. Actually, I had already started to. I put these in a JBot array, and I started to copy content off of this array because I don't want to buy any more drives. I'd rather use the drives I have. I have 318s that I can turn into one RAID 5 array and use that as my main storage. It'll give me 36 terabytes of storage with 1 drive of protection or redundancy or parity, and that's plenty. I don't even have. I have less than 10 terabytes of need for storage right now. So 36 is a lot of capacity. And then I'm like, oh, I got 2 12s. I'm gonna put the 12s in my NVR. I'm gonna put the 12s in the Dream Machine. We'll use the 12s for the cameras. That will triple my camera storage. So what is that? 18, 36. Um, wait, what am I adding up? Yeah, tripling 18, 18, 36. For I'm not mathing. 54 hours, or sorry, 54 days, almost 2 months of retention rather than a couple of weeks, 2.5 weeks. That will be so much better. That would have actually given us, if we would have had that when the theft happened, we would have been able to go all the way back to the first vacation where the first theft occurred, and that would have been huge, for us to be able to do that. Or I wanna actually add another camera or 2. So if I add another camera or 2 with only 4 terabytes, my retention will drop. Maybe I'll go from 18 days to 12 or something. So if I can get up to 54 days with the current cameras, add a couple cameras, I'm probably still at, like, 40 days of retention, over a month, maybe a month and a half. That's nice. 5 weeks, perhaps. So that'll be awesome. So I'm gonna repurpose these 3 for my main array, file storage, media storage, cold storage, all that stuff, backup, photo backup. These 2 12s will go into the Dream Machine. And then I'm just going to take the other 4 4s and I'm just going to put them all in there anyway, because I did buy this one. I don't know if I actually confirmed that. This is the one I did buy. So we'll do 3 bays of the 18s. We'll do 4 bays of the 4s. And I think I'm just going to make them separate arrays. So I'll raid 5 the 18s together. I'll raid 5 the 4s together. And this will also give me a migration path because I need to copy all this data. Like I got to get the data. I got to get almost 10 terabytes of data off the Synology and into the array on the Ubiquity. And I have to have the drives to build the Ubiquity array to have the destination, but the data is on the drives in the Synology that I want to get them sourced from. So what I think I'm actually going to do is when this comes, and it already shipped, I think it'll probably be here like tomorrow or Wednesday. Um, I can't take any of these 5 drives out to begin with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the 2 4 terabytes out of the Dream Machine. I'm going to pop these 2 4 terabytes out of the Synology. I'll put those in the Ubiquity NAS first, build an array of those drives. Then I will copy everything off of this array onto the 4 terabyte drive array temporarily. Um, then once that's done, now my data is over on the Ubiquity. I will remove all these drives. The 2 12s will go into the Dream Machine. The 3 18s will go into the Ubiquity NAS. I will build a second RAID array with these drives. I will then move the content off of the 4s to the 18s, and Bob's your uncle, right? I think is what they say. So that's my plan with the least amount of time. So there'll be like a window of there'll be a window of time where I might for a couple of days where I may be down. I'll have no camera storage. The cameras will be down. Don't come steal my stuff during those 2 days, please, if you're watching this. Um, I already had enough stuff stolen this year. Good on theft. Um, but so there'll be a little bit of downtime as kind of we go through, but we'll always have uptime for our data. So That's, uh that's what I'm thinking, and, I mean, I really like this model, like, so it ticks a lot of boxes, so I'll end so what by the time I'm done, I will be using every hard drive that I own, which is cool, so I won't have extra hard drives, I won't have to sell any hard drives, I'll be using all of them, extra camera storage, plenty of cold storage, a backup array to use for whatever I see fit. Maybe I'll actually have the iCloud photos go to the 4 terabyte array, and then I'll just use the 18 terabyte drive array for media, business files and stuff like that. We'll see. So I'm using every hard drive. I will sell the Synology, but I will take the 1 terabyte SSD out of it and I'll put it in the Ubiquity as well. So I'll still end up with a 1 terabyte cache drive on the Unify NAS, on the UNAS Pro 8, and then I'll sell the Synology as is, empty, and I'll leave the 10 gig network card in it because I don't have a use for the network card. Oh, I also upgraded the RAM in the Synology. So I'll sell the Synology with the upgraded RAM. I think it has 32 gig. Oh, excuse me, man. I think I upgraded it from 8 to 32, and then I upgraded the networking and I added the cache drive. So I'm going to keep the cache drive, sell it with the upgraded RAM and the upgraded network card, bare empty, and away it'll go. And I'll probably get, I don't know. I'm thinking a DS1821 with a couple of upgrades, probably still worth a few $100. So this is all I spent. The 800, no discounts on Ubiquity. I'm buying this stuff because I legit love it so much and I think it's the best. There's no there's no dealer pricing going on here. I have no special access. I tried multiple times to try to appeal to them. Um, let me set up an affiliate, something like that, but never really heard anything back. So this is just straight, well, business use, business purchase. I'll make content about it as much as seems reasonable to do so. But it'll be awesome. So one more piece of infrastructure, really almost the last piece of infrastructure that I probably will move off of a non-Ubiquity model to an integrated Ubiquity model. So I'm pretty excited for this one, and this is a more impactful and useful everyday upgrade than swapping out the screen or whatever might have been. So yeah, this is coming this week. I'll get this thing set up and go from there. So a couple more questions and we'll start wrapping up here. Chintapet, welcome. Has a questions. Is there a new Apple TV? I have not heard anything. I have not seen any rumor mill about Apple TV. I don't think we'll see any new Apple products until March. So um I would wait until March to possibly see that whatever might be coming next from Apple. Springtime. There's usually a springtime hardware launch update, whatever. Maddie, did anyone else an F1 fan? Oh, Apple TV subscribers can activate free F1 TV premium account. Cool. I'm back. I'm signed back up with Peacock. That's the only thing that I've added lately. TJB 6580, welcome. Ubiquity has a habit of starting new products and then poof, nothing more on them. Hard to move away from dedicated NAS like Synology. That's true. That's true. I mean, there's a lot to like about Synology for sure. Like their app pack, the package center, the ability to run apps. I think overall the Synology is probably the more versatile model, and it's certainly the more mature one, 100%. The ecosystem, like it's more of a computer. I feel like you can treat it as more of a computer, right? You can get into it. You can if you really want to get low level, you can get low level on the Synology, and you can have the Synology do a whole bunch of different things. For me now, I just find I don't need it to do more things for me. And now that the Unify software has some of the cloud connectivity, that's really my key use case. So I'm happy with the capabilities. Otherwise, I just need kind of some fast cold file storage and um, good to go. Yeah, I would like everything in one pane of glass though. It's gonna look nice. Um, I love the Unify section of my rack setup. This is only adding to the mystique of that area. Srin, welcome, my friend. Hello, hello. Completely lost. Something doesn't sound right about your retention. Oh, interesting. I have almost 2 years on six 4K cameras. No, that's here. Let me see if I can log in here. We'll take a quick peek at this. I'm pretty sure it was 18 days because rolling back. Unify Protect. No, right now retention estimate it's 20. It changed. Interesting. 22 days, 9 hours, 43 minutes. I'm using 3.87 terabytes of 3.96. One active session. That's me. That's me logged in. Current bit rate 18. I wonder, do you have your resolution? I think I can show this. Boy, I'm not showing again any. I don't think there's any personally identifiable information here. Detections. Yeah, so yeah, right there. Retention estimate 22 and 9 hours. So that's it. And that's on 5 cameras, but the doorbell is a double feed, right? Because you get the down camera, or I don't know if they integrate those together. I don't remember how that works. The down camera and the forward facing porch camera. Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah, Ubiquiti has bad dealer pricing. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I do actually have through one of the distribution companies that I work with, I do actually have access to Ubiquiti through them, and it's not even like a discount. It's pretty ridiculous. If I wanted if as a dealer selling network equipment, it's if let me say it like this, I guess. If a dealer is selling you Ubiquiti, it's because they believe in the brand and they like it. They're not making money on it, or maybe they're charging you some labor and services for like the network administration, setup and installation, but they're not making money on the hardware. I'll tell you that. Yes, Ren. I bet the March event is low cost MacBook. Yeah, we'll see. They're waiting for the M6 MacBook Pro with a redesign. I wonder what the redesign. Yeah, that'll be like end of year, back to school time, whatever, October, November event. I'll probably, if there's some interesting new redesign element, I'll probably upgrade my MacBook this year. I have the M4, I believe is what mine is. Yeah, M4 Pro. So 2 year cycle is usually pretty good. I feel like the battery on my MacBook now just recently. I don't know if it's perhaps the latest Mac OS updates or what, but I feel like some of the battery life is not it's not holding as long as it used to. I unplugged this thing from what should have been a full charge at the start of the stream, and I am at 53% right now. Red Techie, welcome, welcome. Saw leaks just recently for release the new Apple TV. Yeah, there's the downside to that is like it's such a hot topic that like every little news outlet, and they did this all year long last year too. Like it's coming, new Apple TV. Like every couple of weeks, they get a bunch of clicks, they make a bunch of money, and that's it. And there's really no truth to any of it. Yeah, I'm like I don't even know what I want from a new Apple TV. Kind of the same. I mean, what would it really do? Some of the things that would be nice if it is hardware limited, it would be nice to be able to get like the full hi-fi Apple Music via HDMI if that's possible. The current Apple TV doesn't do that, and the quality of that music is already there, rather than it being some bitrate limited or whatever. Um, yeah, I mean it'll have like whatever more RAM, faster processor, better GPU, graphics, etc. They'll continue to talk around the bush for gaming, but it's not going to be I don't think anything groundbreaking. So anybody waiting for a new Apple TV, like I am curious what are you waiting for? Like if you're sitting on the fence that you haven't already just bought the current model, because if you're in the Apple ecosystem, you like Apple products and you wanted to use it and you're waiting for a new Apple TV, I think you'll be sorely disappointed. Should have just got it a long time ago and been enjoying it all this time. New HomePods, yeah, new HomePod, yeah, yeah. Some of the other stuff, I agree with that. For the Unify Enterprise products, decent deals from a distributor I've worked with as a Unify integrator. I bought this NAS and I didn't even bother to check. I didn't even bother to actually check my distributor to see if there was actually a deal. If I can do this quickly while I'm online, if there actually was a deal, um, I might have spent more than I needed to if I could have actually bought it at a discount. But surprisingly, the UNAS 4 wasn't even available as well. It said like Q1 2026 availability. Yeah, so there's none in, yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's like $10. Yeah, no dealers are getting rich selling that stuff unless they're charging you thousands for the for the work, for the installation. So in redesign, we'll have an OLED Apple TV. OLED. Wait. Oh, the MacBook. Now that would be great. Okay. I'm like, wait, OLED touchscreen on an Apple TV. Sorry, my brain wires were getting crossed. OLED touchscreen display, 5G connectivity, stuff like that would be pretty cool on the MacBook. Touchscreen is interesting for sure. I wonder if it would fold. I wouldn't even mind like a bigger screen. Like give me a 17-inch MacBook um, as well. I would take that. Deben is welcome, my friend. I think Apple TV is waiting new Siri version to be announced. Interesting. I haven't seen anything about that. What the new Siri would do. So yeah, that's it. That's what's been going on here for the last week. We had some fun. Valentine's Day, getting out skiing, home projects. We're setting up our figure collection, our memorabilia collection. My son and I. Oh, we have been working. Let me show this off really quick as well before we adjourn. We're adding, kind of growing a bunch of the recommended stuff and whatever on the webpage. So now here it is. I showed this last week, but we built in a little bit more stuff. You go to the gear area of the webpage there, and you can get to. We're starting to list for a bunch of different brands. Anthem, Epson, Focal, JVC, Kaleidoscape, Sony, Wattbox stuff is listed right now. You can click in one of these, and now I do want to get more and more like information put up here. I want to start. I'll show it actually in the Anthem section, like linking more videos. They're linking videos from the channel that are like about the brand or specific models and stuff like that. Because of course I use a lot of these things myself. You'll notice some things. I'm not even going to call this a store. It's a catalog. It's like a recommended gear catalog, really, at this point. But some of these things we can sell. I do mention that. And if you're interested in any of it, you got the contact forms right there on the pages. I do want to, after we get more stuff listed, we're going to work on getting more details published, more specs, maybe data sheets, links, stuff like that. Kaleidoscape stuff is in here, of course, all the different units and models. And I do have this updated for the current availability of like what servers and stuff are available. The accessories and that are all here. Of course, I'm not selling Anthem. I'm not an Anthem dealer, but I have them in the catalog because I like their stuff so much, and I want to spread the word. So, like on some of these, right, I started to kind of link the videos in. Need to try to work on the sizing. Maybe the thumbnails don't need to be so big, but you can watch like the relevant videos from the channel about that specific model, and then where I don't have the ability to actually directly offer something or put you in touch with me, I have the links directly to my partners. So you want to buy an AVM 90, boom, the link is right there. Take you right to the vendor page for that item. So I will do this a little bit more as well. I know folks, I recommend Anthem very much. I love it. I think it's great stuff. Some of the best audio equipment and whatever out there. So we did build out the Anthem section, and it's all basically set up for kind of affiliate referral. I can't, the number of people that get in touch and like, hey, saw like your video on whatever, your AVM 90, interested in this Anthem thing. It's like, well, that's great. I highly recommend it. I can't sell it to you, but go to one of my partners or whatever. And so then there's like, it's like very open loop. It's very asynchronous then for them actually to call audio advice or go somewhere. So it's like, now you're interested in it. I talked to you about it. I gave it my recommendation. I told you why I like it, why, what model or whatever may work for you. Just go to my webpage and just click to it from my page and buy from there. I actually want to get the audio advice chairs listed as well, because that's another thing that people ask about quite a lot. We still got to get a couple of the Focal lines up. Speakers take a long time. There's a lot of models. It's a lot of data entry. But we need to get the Aria Evo series listed. We need to get the Canta series listed. And then actually, I think there's even another one. Actually, Focal also just launched. It's kind of like a sound box. And it's not exactly a sound bar, kind of like a sound box. I need to check that out. But we're working on Per Listen and some other vendors. So this list is gonna keep growing, and then after that, we'll make more passes back through putting links to video content. I want to put like my thoughts and reviews, written words where appropriate, in there. And then we still got work to do to get like the t-shirts, merchandise available directly off the webpage here. And then we'll also start working on that memorabilia section, but focused on the audio video equipment and gear stuff first. So it's been fun learning a lot about like the webpage tools and controls, even a little bit of like web coding, because I've had to do a little whatever CSS tags and code references for a couple of the things that we needed to do for the product pages and stuff. So, but it's pretty cool. Do have some featured promotions there again. Couple of if you're interested, actually goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If you're looking at the current hard disk drive Kaleidoscape servers, 18 or 30 terabytes, they are available in Strato C bundles at an MSRP discount. So get in touch as well for any specific pricing and whatnot. And JVC, some of the JVC sales continue at least till the end of February. I think some of them, one or the other goes a little bit further, maybe into March, but wouldn't rest on any of this. And again, if anybody wants the mini server, the mini SSD server, better not wait. Again, I sent it out in the newsletter, and I was talking to a few folks, and if you really wanted that thing, you should have bought it. The best time to buy it was when it was $59.95. The next best time to buy it right now is when it's $79.95, because it's not going in the preferable direction. But yeah, tomorrow, big day. The new living room tour video will come out. We'll end up linking that on the webpage. Excited about that. Hope that one gets a lot of views. $50,000, $50,000, almost $60,000 living room setup now. Available to demo as well. I'm going to start putting together my thoughts and some plans probably for a spring showcase event, open house event coming up again. We did the one in fall. It was real fun, real successful. It was just before Thanksgiving, actually. I'd like to do another one coming up, but always available by appointment. If somebody wants coming in the Southeast Michigan area and you want to check out these systems, spend some time, do some demos and whatnot, my spaces are available. That's what they're here for. So that's that. I'm gonna call it a day. Family's up there waiting, and get some dinner going. I don't know what we're doing tonight. Probably working on some more toy collection stuff with my son. Probably daughter's got soccer practice. But I hope everybody has a great week. We'll be talking. Well, maybe next week we'll talk a little bit more NAS. Maybe, possibly, if it's delivered and I've got it set up, we'll definitely be reflecting on that. So, and then we get working towards some other big announcements. Got cool projects in the work. If I can help anybody out there with your stuff, please get in touch. Email jeremy@techthusiasm.net, or again, go to that webpage. We're working on that webpage slowly but surely, trying to get a whole bunch of stuff set up and offered and present there. So been a fun time. A lot of comments today. Really appreciate all the interaction and the banter and whatnot. It makes the live streams really fun and really cool. I got to work and get some more guests going as well, because I can talk for an hour and a half. We're at an hour and a half actually here today, but want to get some more guests going, some other conversation and whatnot. So anyway, so too many irons in the fire, so to speak. But thanks everybody for coming out. Check back soon. Sign up for the newsletter on the webpage. Probably be sending the next newsletter out here by this weekend, I would bet. Having fun with that as well. And yeah, again, so many irons in the fire. I got to go. Thanks for watching. Come on back for more home theater discussion and fun. Very, very much appreciate all of you.